Hello and welcome to another episode of the DewatchPod. I am Jorgen Smorgasbord.
And I am Jim with a G.
And today we have watched the Elysian Kingdom, which marks the final regular Star Trek episode from Strange New World, which we have de-watched, read. We have watched its season in reverse order, and specifically because there's a lot of episodes, we've only watched the highest and lowest rated episodes, plus a wild card or two.
That's right. And now we're here.
Yeah, we have watched, as I said, the Elysian Kingdom. Our final regular episode from season 1. And, would we recommend to our listeners that they watch this episode?
So I liked this episode, and I don't think I necessarily should. So I'm gonna go with it. If you have brainworms like mine, where you can look at extremely cringe-worthy ideas of how to set up a plot, yeah, go for it. But, you know, if you're in here for maybe some of the more classical sci-fi, maybe not. Maybe this is a decline.
I think it's fairly fun. We have some interesting character work, and yeah. If you do choose to watch this episode, do be content warned of a central theme being the terminal illness of a child.
And that's our entire content warning list.
Yeah, that's it.
It's really nice compared to Black Mirror. I keep saying it, but it's like we have to come up with like one thing for an episode of Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't think, and I guess this is yet to be proven because I'll be editing a lot of episodes today, but I do think we are in a situation where like I will not have to backfill any content warnings like in the edit.
We're on a streak, baby.
Though I do think we did backfill some at some point during the recordings.
Maybe? I don't remember, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, with the space politics one. That's on us, I suppose. I don't think we missed anything so much as we added something.
Yeah, exactly. And isn't that what's great about podcasting, Jorgen?
Yeah, we enhance the art by talking about it. Now, as I've mentioned, we do tend to watch the best rated and worst rated episode of the season, and Jim has told me in confidence that you have a pretty good idea of where this episode falls.
Yeah, so like, you know, another thing about this podcast, we should mention this before we go on too, is the part where like you, Jorgen, have seen these episodes before, yeah. Even though while we were starting watching this episode, you did not remember which one it was.
Well, I mostly went off the title and was like, yeah, and then I just like mixed it up. I did remember this episode, okay. I just did not remember that this was the episode it was.
Yeah, but basically we are comparing this one versus what was it called? It's a Quality of Mercy.
That's right.
Which is, Quality of Mercy is like a quite interesting dive into the politics of great systems and empire, yeah. and great powers. It's a time travel episode. It references the original series. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of character work going on. I think it's got a lot of points. This one is... You know, okay, here's my read on Star Trek as a whole. I think there is an Overton window of how much you can indulge, and this one is far beyond that window. Because, as a little teaser before we get into the plot, this is essentially about like, ooh, there's a space brain that makes everyone think they're in a fairy tale, except for two people, including our protagonist here, Mbinga. I don't think the cast is necessarily bringing their A game in a lot of cases. I find the episode very charming, but I feel very confident that this is the lowest rated episode.
And you're right.
Yeah, no, I didn't, like, when I was right last season, I was not 100% confident. This one, I was like, I think I would bet.
Yeah, no, I think, having gone through Strange New Worlds, you have dialed in correctly on nostalgia. High marks. Weird shit, low marks.
Well, yeah, I mean, like it's hard just because last season the lowest rated episode was a musical episode, and it's kind of self evident in a way. I can't draw that much from that. That just happens. Here it was a bit more complicated, but simultaneously I was like, this is a bit beyond. I think also like, I suppose as a hint of what I feel like I'm going to talk about, you did mention that there's some character work in this episode, and to be honest, I kind of disagree because I think there's.
I was mostly thinking acting.
I see what you mean.
I do think we do see the personalities of the characters sort of filtered, and
For sure, there's
but
different elements.
they're like driving the characters they resign. Should we get into the short summary for real?
Yeah, yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
So, as is sort of set up throughout the season leading up to this, Dr. Mbenga is keeping his daughter in the transporter, well, for his daughter Rakia, because she's dying of like
Leukemia, which is not a real thing, in case you're curious.
well, I think, and this is me pulling deep from the memory banks, I think when Star Trek does like illness stories, it's like yeah, no, this is like the 1 in a billion illness that is like so rare we haven't like figured out how to cure it yet. Right, like it is like utopian, but it's like, well, we do want to tell stories that people will recognize. So, like, yeah, no, like this guy got this guy lost the reverse lottery.
Well, yeah, like I think it's one of those things where, like, on one hand, this like sicknesses and illnesses are prime storytelling material, and on the other hand, you also want to be like, well, sci-fi is really advanced, and we probably fixed a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So you want to be like, we fixed cancer, we fixed a bunch of stuff. Here's this new thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a common sci-fi thing. But yeah, we have Mbenga. He is working on a cure.
Yeah, he he is possessed of the only character flaw that a character in a utopian future can have, which is working too hard.
And isn't that a beautiful contrast to the world we live in? We're both from Protestant countries, in case you couldn't tell.
Yeah, no, and one of us is of a Protestant upbringing.
There you go.
And yeah, this is just reference, so we like remember it again, and then the actual story hits because they're scanning a nebula, and whoops, they can't leave, and Ortegas gets like jostled as they try to leave.
Yeah.
And Dr. Mbenga is called to the bridge, and whoop, everything's weird all of a sudden.
And I suppose one more plot point that we should mention is that, like, I think the episode does specifically start with him reading this, like, fairy tale to his daughter, whose name is Rakia, who I don't think I picked up on until she comes back later.
Yeah, and lo and behold, that fairy tale is actually playing out on the bridge.
I will say, slight points for Mbenga, because I feel like he kind of gets it a lot faster than a lot of these sorts of like isekai-esque situations, where he kind of goes like, what? Okay, never mind, I understand. Let's just go with this shit until I can get out.
Yeah, and he is like somewhat heavy-handedly like moved to like, no, the computer? Do you mean the Oracle?
I did think that was pretty good, because I was like, wait, the computer's still on, so that has to be integrated somehow, and that's kind of a cute way to do it. But yeah, like the broad storyline that happens in both like this little fantasy thing going on and in the original book is that there are like two magical kingdoms kind of at war. So we get a lot of the other characters get transformed. We immediately get introduced to Ortegas, who's like a knight, I guess, who's like
she's basically one of his two bodyguards. The other bodyguard being Captain Pike, who's another knight.
Yeah. Well, he's a chamberlain, and he seems like he seems more like a chancellor.
Yeah, the two of them are his attendants, and Pike's in-character trait is that he is a squirming coward.
He's a little bitch.
And Ortegas is this is more playing towards like her like out of this episode character is that she is bold to the point of recklessness.
And I suppose Pike doesn't feel like a coward in other scenarios. It more feels like he is being, like, his caution is being played up into cowardice, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's normally very level-headed. We then meet Nurse Chapel,
Yeah,
who
who's
is
a witch.
I was gonna say herbalist, but yeah, I suppose you couldn't just jump to witch.
Yeah, no, I mean, what's the difference?
She is, okay, so I don't feel like I know enough about Nurse Chapel, except she's a boss babe in later seasons when she dumps the shit out of Spock. She gets
you can't call her a boss baby. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, they say boss. I think I meant to say boss bitch.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Nurse Chapel doesn't get a lot of screen time in this fantasy. She's mostly there to be like she's kind of doing like Wiccan girl energy for a little bit, and then she's mostly out of the story. But then we meet La'an,
who is a very an exiled princess of a lost kingdom,
and she has a dog.
Yeah, and
wait, so is implication that this fantasy made the dog? I just realized that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, no, that I don't think that dog is real.
Oh fuck.
Well, maybe I don't know.
We'll get to the analysis of what's real.
Well, I think like there might just be like a dog on the Enterprise.
Maybe, yeah.
Somewhere.
I mean, like Data had a cat.
I think the cat. I forget if the cat. Why do you know that? I think the cat is.
Well,
I don't know if the cat is real.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know if the cat is real. It might be.
You mean
real.
the dog?
No, Data's cat.
Data's cat.
I think it might be a robot.
What the fuck? Okay.
It might just be a real cat.
I suppose we might eventually get
I think
to
it's
the next
actually a real cat. I'm getting confused. I didn't pay that much attention when I watched The Next Generation years ago.
La'an is a very, very dainty princess, which is where I'm going like, I like what this show is doing with its characters, now that they're in a weird situation. But basically she introduces the MacGuffin, the Mercury Stone, right? Yeah. Which is like, oh, it's some kind of powerful weapon that will change the course of this war.
And they're like, oh, we need to talk to the wizard.
Which is a guy I haven't seen before.
Yeah, Hammer dies at some point.
Oh, fuck, okay. But notably, he's an alien. The immediate thing that pops up is that he seems to be the only one else who's not, like, being a fairy tale character. He's just like, what's going on, man?
He's got telepathy that keeps him normal.
Yeah, we get to that plot point in a bit.
Yeah.
Then, like, I guess they start going on the adventure, right? Because they want to rescue him, because Mbenga's like, I'm pretty sure he has whatever the fuck the Mercury Stone is.
Yeah, well, he might be able to find it, and then they realize, like, oh no, he's normal, so he's not going to be able to help us find it.
At which point we meet Spock.
Yeah, we meet the wizard's wizard brother.
Yes, Pollux.
The dark wizard to the bright wizard.
But we don't know that yet. He kind of shows...
No, one of them is literally bright, and one of them is literally dark.
That's a fair point, actually.
Did you not clock that?
I don't think I was paying that much attention to that. I thought he was just standing in shadows, mostly.
No.
But they get introduced to the concept of, like, Spock is the only one who knows the secret path around the swamp of infinite depths, which is excellent. Excellent writing. And then it turns out he's actually working for the evil Queen Uhura, who's called Queen Nev.
I forget.
And they get imprisoned.
Yeah.
At which point, they actually, like... Mbenga and Helmer.
That's how they find Hemmer, the engineer, who's only in this episode for our purposes, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm normal too. I'm giving you like a little bit of like telepathy presence lowdown, and his role, he may not be a real wizard, but he does take on the role of the wizard.
Yeah.
Of like telling you shit you couldn't otherwise figure out.
So I believe this is where we are hypothesized about the Boltzmann brain.
Yeah.
Which I only vaguely know from outside this episode.
It's one of those, like, well, if the universe is infinitely big, anything can happen, like, hypotheses. Like, it's not... I think it's mainly a hypothesis that is used... in relation to the notion of consciousness, right? Like, it's like like you could be. It's like the really weird simulationist cousin. It's like, oh, like how can reality be real? Well, what if reality isn't real and you're just a brain in a cloud? The simulation without the simulator is like one of the iterations of it.
Right. But the implication of this episode is more that it's like, oh, what if random particles hit each other in like a nebula and created like some sort of thinking mechanism? And that's implied as well, the reason being that like, oh, maybe this entity... Because this is where it becomes a ghost story, notably.
I suppose.
Like that's what I started thinking about. This, because we start talking about the entity, which is modern speak for ghost.
You're right.
I know. I know these things. Where it's like, he's drawing this story from your brain, Mbenga, and that's maybe why you're cool, because you're like the source of this. And it's also like, they break out because I guess Hammer gets like a little like blowtorch or something, and he's like,
he's just got like a welding instrument or a blowtorch on his person, and he's like, all right, I'm just gonna open this gate and we're gonna fuck off. Yeah,
this is also where we get the worst line of the episode, but unfortunately, like it I think it's mostly the delivery that makes it really bad.
He's like, yes, I use a kind of magic called science, and Ortega says, I think I like this science of yours.
That's where I was like fully starting to formulate there's an overtone window of indulgence, and this is so far out of it. Where do they go next after this? I think this is where they start planning to go to the quarters.
No, they have like some intervening steps, I think. But it's like the steps don't matter so much here.
They do go to like a terminal and analyze it or something.
They like sort of like work out a bit more what's happening.
Right. This is where they realize that Mbenga's daughter has like disappeared from her holding place in what's called the buffer, where she's like being kept cryogenically stored.
This is where they I don't know if they like ever say it explicitly, but where they move from like, oh, this is pulled out of Mbenga's brain to this is out of Rukia's brain. Yeah. And that's why he's the big king and he's lovely. And why black people are in charge. And
that's a very interesting point.
And why Una and Ortega's have some lesbian excess energy. So I think Mbenga's daughter canonically into women. Yeah.
The point being, this is where they find that she's gone, and they go like, where would she most like to go? And this part was very unclear to me. For some reason, Mbenga doesn't let her into his quarters.
Well, because he doesn't have a transporter buffer in his quarters. That's...
Okay, gotcha. I suppose like
this transporter buffer for translation is just like a stasis chamber.
Yeah. But basically they go to his quarters, Pike betrays them, and then Hammer goes like, I have a transporter thing, abracadabra, you're gone.
Yeah.
Get screwed.
And that's how the sort of opposition in the plot is dealt with.
Yeah.
And we move to the real final confrontation.
Which is between, like, Mbenga finds his daughter there.
Who's like, yeah, you worked out the story, because she was basically just putting on a play for him.
Yeah, and she's cured now. She does not have her weird disease.
Cytokemia.
Come on, Jorgen, keep up.
Why do you remember, like, random words they use in... I think...
My brain is wired weird,
no, I
okay?
think... No, I think... I have a theory, actually. I think you have not yet, like, fully locked onto, like, the technobabble real thing distinction in Star Trek. So you don't just, let, like, the, like, random word that's here to solve a problem wash over you, and you're like, oh, that might be relevant. You're like, I think that's what's happening. You don't just filter that out as, like, stand-in words.
I guess we'll see if that changes over the course of Star Trek, but for now, I guess I just, like, I appreciate the lore in ways that some other Star Trek viewers don't. But yeah, there's a final confrontation, and this is where Hammer's like, I can So he's talking normally, but what he's essentially saying is, I can summon the ghost for you to talk to.
Yep.
And he does. And the rough final thing is that this ghost for some reason decided Rukia is cool, I want to keep her alive.
Yeah, she's also lonely because I'm a lonely brain in a cloud, and I'm like, this is a child that's in a transporter, so she's kind of also a lonely brain in a cloud.
Yeah, so she essentially goes if I leave, the disease will come back. Very strange, but okay. So the choice here is either I stay and everyone is trapped in fairy tale land forever. I leave and your daughter ends up dying eventually. Or I take the daughter.
Yeah, so the structure of this choice is, first it is just hey, you leave and your daughter dies, or you stay here and everyone in the ship is weird forever. Which actually is not a precondition for them staying. They could just stay in normal fashion.
I suppose, yeah.
But, that's not super important. And then he's I fucking hate this choice. There has to be another option. And the cloud, is, I guess, feminine coded.
Yeah.
And she's well, I guess your daughter could just stay here by herself. Just hang out with me, be besties.
Yeah.
And he's yeah. I guess that is the option that won't kill my daughter.
I haven't exactly been nailing the cure research lately, so fair enough, eat her. And she does. Now I will say, slight detail here, I suppose, but when the space ghost brain first proposes this, she said something about she can meld her consciousness with mine, and I was that seems a bit.
I think she can. Her consciousness can also live in the cloud, I think, is the pitch.
I think that's the idea, but I don't think that's what she says.
I didn't pick that up as weird wording.
Maybe not. Maybe this is just me, but that's what I first read from it, is that I can assimilate her into me, and then we'll be, two brains and that sort of stuff, right? That's not what happens, to be clear, because in being a ghost, sure, you can eat my daughter.
Teleport, basically.
Yeah.
Dematerialize. She doesn't get to have a body anymore.
But she gets to project one. Because, and I think this is the worst scene in the episode, she goes away, and Bing is I guess I have to ruminate on my choices. And then adult daughter reappears immediately and goes, it's been moments for you, but it's been years for me and Deborah, who I've named the space brain, because that was my mom's name. And then Bing is that's so fucking sweet. She always wanted to have a space brain named after her.
And, she's no, you made the right choice. Everything's sick in the nebula. Doing good. You can peace out and not worry about it ever again.
I really hate that other part. To finish off, basically after this, things go back to normal. People are have no memory of it, even Hammer. And they go oh, Benga, you know what happened in those 5 lost hours on the security tapes? And he goes, yeah. And then the episode ends.
Yeah, and he starts telling the story to Una, and that's where the episode cuts.
Yeah, I fucking hate the ending there. Just the part, let people fucking live with ambiguity. If you're gonna be hey, here's a hard emotional choice, don't immediately be correct. You got it.
Well, it's a tough one, right? Because the episode does end on this choice, but it doesn't spend a lot of time on it.
No.
Right? We're not we don't spend a lot of time exploring the options. So a viewer might reasonably go I feel he could have kept her in the transporter buffer for a while and then come back if he comes up blank.
Yeah.
You can start having a lot of theories about hey, why is this the choice he makes? And instead of doing that and spending time on that, we just get hey, anyway, I've time traveled functionally to tell you, good call. That's how that is. That time allocation problem is resolved.
Like, it just fundamentally feels to me like like you're playing a video game and they're like, here's a tough moral choice, and then you pick one, and before you get any dialogue about it, you get an achievement that pops up on Steam that says the correct one. You did it.
Well, we're not Steam exceptionalists here.
No, of course not.
You can use other services to play video games.
I just think instant feedback on tough choices is like not the way to go. Not in that manner, at least. Like, no, I don't like it.
I mean, like, I guess to like take your analogy and run with it for a moment, right? Like, video games are like notoriously bad at this.
Yeah, of course.
Like, they will be like, oh yeah, no, our video game is about hard choices. And then they will be like, either they will be like, hey, we actually have a morality system where it's like extremely good and moral, and like the most evil burn the orphanage motherfucker you could imagine. And conversely, when a game's like, no, we have gray choices, like, I guess you kind of need to squint to work it out. Which one is the clearly correct choice, and which is the choice where, like, someone is fucking with you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure I could talk about this forever, but, like, I feel like the way a lot of these do it, and weirdly enough, this reflects the episode pretty well, is the idea of, like, there's a choice that sounds bad, but is good.
Yeah.
Is how that's something that happens in Fallout 1, it's something that happens in Dragon Age Origins, like, it's a pretty common way to be like, this is good, but it feels icky.
Yeah, no, like, I think, and, you know, I think video games are, like, the medium that is, like, most, like, committed to choice, and therefore, like, has this problem, like, be most apparent.
Yeah.
But, like, I cannot think of any, like, medium that, like, explores hard choices, like, consistently well. Like, writing hard choices is really difficult, and very few people do it well. Like, I cannot think of, like, a good example of, like, a hard choice that is, like, centered as such in media right now that actually is, like, well done.
Yeah, like, there's... I think this is just kind of, like... I think this episode was so close. I genuinely think if you remove the last part where, you know, welcome to the feedback session... I think it would have been good. Like, I genuinely think this would have been a good example. Like, yes, the episode is awkward. Like, I find it charming, but I do not think it is particularly well written. But the final choice, because, like, as you kind of indicate, like, yeah, there is a genuine, like, mystery to this, right? Where it's like, I don't know what will happen to my child when her consciousness is sent out into the open, like, void of space.
Yeah, no.
Versus, like, if I could have kept her and maybe I could have found a cure.
To be clear, like, it is, like, flagged that, no, like, her body's gone, baby. Like, she is no longer a physical entity, which is bizarre because she's just in the cloud.
Yeah.
Right? It's just her human body's gone. She still has, like, a cloud mind.
Yeah. It is interesting because obviously, like, you have no concept of what that sort of existence is like. Yeah. And you're choosing for, like, an 8-year-old child or something like that?
Well, the 8-year-old child gets to go, like, yeah. And
but that's not...
Yeah, no, but, like, like, that... At least it doesn't feel bad in that way, you know?
No,
like,
I know.
Would be
like,
terrible.
I realize, like, there's not much more he could have done.
Yeah.
But, like, this is the kind of choice where it's like, I don't know if an adult human has informed consent here, and I definitely don't think a child does.
Yeah, no, like...
But that's part of what makes it interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think there's so many... Like, there's also just the fact that, like, clearly Mbenga is, like... I don't have a great read on his character overall, but in this episode, like, he's clearly, like, tired and, like, starting to go into a bit of despair about the situation of, like, my last cure exploded. Like, I'm not getting anywhere about my child who's running out of time.
Yeah.
Like, that being a contributing factor to him essentially, in a way, giving up on curing her. Like, that's interesting. There's a lot of interesting things. So I genuinely think this could have been a fairly uniquely good example of someone making a really tough choice with a lot of ambiguity about where does that choice come from and where does it lead.
Yeah, like, I did say that, like, the episode does not spend a lot of time exploring, like, the options. And, like, that's obviously true, but, like, on the other hand, like, say, like, you just, like, cut the episode, like, after, like, the child goes, and, like, instead of, like, her appearing again before him, like, he gets, like, a message, like, on the, like, intercom or whatever. You know, like, something that is, like, a lot more, like, a lot less the episode telling you everything is fine, and a lot
Yeah.
more, like, room for ambiguity. You know, like, you can still do that to an extent without, like, quite so clearly going like, it's fine, it's fine. We, the writers, are telling you this is good.
I think it's in a way, it's kind of bizarre going from Black Mirror, which is a series that abuses ambiguity to get out of having to say things, to this,
Yeah.
right? Like, and obviously, yeah, like it's a very different series. I'm not saying that, but like I am seeing both like sides of the flaws here,
Yeah.
right? Of how to handle that sort of thing.
Like, and I think the thing I'm sort of like really circling around just now is like, if you didn't have that clear resolution, like, what would be the appropriate amount of, like, writing time spent on, like, exploring the options, right? Like, it's so momentous, like, you almost can't do it.
Like, it's the sort of thing where, like, yeah, you can come in here, like, let's say we go with that, like, it cuts after the child disappears and before adult correct version reappears, right?
And it's like, everything's fine.
2 thumbs up, Benga, you did it, boy. Like, if we cut there, right? Like, I'm sure there would be a lot of CinemaSins people coming in and being like, he should have asked for every detail on it, and I was like, but like, you can do that and it's gonna suck, right? Like, cinematically, and like, just like, this is already established, like, this is a mysterious, mystical entity, like, there probably aren't those answers, and even if there were those answers, how can you trust it, right? Like, this is a being that is fundamentally alien. Like, I didn't make, like, the point about, like, this is a ghost story, but like, most ghosts used to be humans. This that's not what's going on here.
This, like, in one sense, like, it's a ghost story. In another sense, it's like a first contact story. In yet another sense, it's like one of those, like, the alien is kind of a stand-in for, like, almost divinity, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and in this case, like, it's in a very weird in-between space where, like, sure, this alien is, like, very powerful, but it's also, like, lonely, right? Which is a very human emotion.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, it clearly has some overlap with, like, more human or other aliens in this settings, like mines, but it's also, like, completely alien in some other ways. I think I quite like the characterization that way. Like, I do like those sort of, like, because it's relatable enough, but it's also, like, the kind of thing where it's like, I have found a child. This child thinks I am cool. I will wipe out the rest of the crew if I have to. Like, that's kind of neat. But yeah, no, I think that's, like, I think it's unfortunate how that all goes.
Yeah.
And I, like, that's the kind of sad part is, I don't think I have a super amount to talk about the rest of the episode. There's, I think there's a few other, like, things that I would have liked to see. I actually think it kind of sucks that everyone loses their memory of it. Like, because that's a marked difference towards Subspace Rhapsody, the musical episode, where everyone is like, oh yeah, I did just express all of those feelings out loud in song. Ooh, people know about, like, some of the stuff I've been keeping inside. And in comparison, this one is just like, no, don't worry about it. And like, obviously it's not a musical in that sense, but it's still, like, clearly revealing some exaggerated real traits of these people.
Well, I'm trying to sort of think through that just now, right? Because we have Ortega, so it's just, like, more herself in, like, a more extreme fashion, right? But then we have, like, Pike and La'an, who are just, like, very different, who are, like, and they're, like, what's happening here functionally is that this is comedy by inversion, right? It's like, this person is the opposite. How entertaining. And it is, to be clear. It's quite funny. But, like, there's no... Spock's a bit of a weird one, because he's the most who is, like, just playing the character.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have that much going on.
I would actually go against your idea that this is just comedy by inversion, because Pike is a good example to start with, right? He is depicted as a sniveling coward here, but someone who's like still taking care of like the core of this fantastical kingdom. Someone who's like at the service of his crew in this case. Those I think reflect quite well, and I do think like his cowardice is still a reflection of his tendency to be cautious and careful. And I don't think that makes the real Pike a coward, but I could see where that feeling comes from. Like that's a fear I could see him having about himself. And if anything, I would say it's kind of in a way reflecting the whole thing where he's like he ends up chickening out of meeting his fate in the episode we watched last time, right? Like yes, it's also about the cadets who die, but like he's also quite he's spared a horrible fate by doing so.
Yeah.
La'an, I feel like I know less about, but you know, like there's something in there. Like she's descended from like a very notable individual.
Yeah, Space Hitler.
Yeah, exactly. So
or
like,
I guess pre-Space Hitler.
Really? I don't...
Yeah, no. The genetics wars are before warp.
Wow. Okay. Damn. But yeah, like there's an element there of like she's the most haughty, perhaps, of the characters in the fantasy version, and she is like kind of royalty in a certain sense of the word in the real world. So there's like I think that could reflect a certain degree of like, am I quote unquote superior to others in this crew? Like, is that how they see me?
I suppose. Yeah, no, like I would still stick to the like inversion part for them, but like it's keeping some it's keeping something and sort of playing on that rather than just
like I think this is the kind of thing where it's like this is the demon showing you your worst fears in a way.
Yeah.
Like Uhura is like I also don't think we get enough of Uhura's actual personality here. But it is kind of like
she is a bit more like Spock and that like she's playing a role.
But she's also a bit like she's the communications officer. She's the one who like it like manages a lot of these commands. So like I could see like I think maybe there's an argument that could be like an ambition almost, like the fact that like you know, drawing out some degree of like resentment or pride in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think we get enough of Uhura or Spock. Spock is just, I don't know what's going on with him, man. He's just a weirdo. But,
I mean, he is mostly himself, just a bit evil.
I suppose there's an interesting thing is that he's being duplicitous. That's his most obvious trait. And he's a half Vulcan, half human in reality.
Yeah.
So it could be about like split allegiances.
Well, it could be about the Romulan element.
I was wondering about that too.
I don't think it's
makes
that
sense.
deep.
Because it's before he even knows about the Romulans.
I forget.
Well, no,
I think
because it happens because in Quality of Mercy it happens in the future.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm getting so good at Star Trek lore. But yeah, no, like I think there's something there. I don't think it goes very far with it. That's kind of where I end up on that one.
Yeah, no, that's. I think like we have. I think in the sense like the musical episode is a fair bit stronger because like it does just like it does do more damage like
absolutely
to people's lives.
Like imagine I just love the part where it's like I've been thinking about breaking up with my boyfriend and then it comes out and you have to do it in the most savage way possible. Like a whole the entire crew is dancing at you breaking up with your boyfriend and you're like, that's gonna be tough to repair.
Yeah. No. To be fair, like, strangely, we have seen like a fair amount of the Spock Chapel relationship because a lot of it happens in goofy episodes. You know, like some of the savage blows are like, oh yeah, no, Ensign Boimler bumbled through and like fucking broke Chapel's heart about being able to like make Spock happy in the long term.
It's also a bit in 4.5 Vulcans, I think, right? There's something in there. Well, I'm actually kind of surprised nothing came up here.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's. I forget if it's happening at this. Oh yeah, no, like Spock has like a wife almost in this season.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, does not show up in our 2 episodes.
But yeah, like I mean, I think this episode in and of itself is kind of very simple in what it wants to talk about. It wants to talk about like how long you can delay something horrible, how long you can, and like I kind of thought they were going to emphasize a bit more the like, oh, like you can live in fantasy and forget about it, or you have to face the cold, harsh reality, and that's kind of not where it goes mechanically.
Well,
It's a bit more of a like you have to let go.
I mean, it's like a little bit of both, right? It's
Yeah.
like he is facing some harsh realities, but like good comes of it.
Yeah. And like I think that's the final part, right? Is that like the final message is like sometimes you're gonna have to let go of things because grasping onto them won't give you a cure for your daughter's illness. You know, like it won't lead that much further. There's an amount of stuff you can do, and at some point you hit that limit, and if you keep going, you are just shoveling dirt.
Yeah. No, like it is to an extent about like making peace with powerlessness, and in this case, Space God will fix it. Like with limitations.
I think it's a bit weakened by that, but not everything has to nail its allegory.
Well, I think like for the allegory it works quite well to me, right? Because like sometimes like holding on is the thing that like is like the worst part. Like sometimes moving on is just fine.
No, I agree with that. I think it's if you go one slight layer, like if you go like half a layer deeper, if you have a terminally ill relative and you go like, okay, there's not much, I just have to grieve and move on, that won't cure that relative.
Yeah.
That's where it becomes a bit weaker, because she's
Yeah.
fine. Like, she's fine. She's doing great.
Yeah, she's doing great in the Nebula.
Yeah. She's having years of cool adventures while you are being sad in your room for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, it's
She's
like,
owning you, dude.
yeah, she's really going a lot faster than you. Like, this just like has not been like revisited in a big way. Like there is like at some point like a villain shows up and he's like, how do you know that cloud person was doing the real thing? How do you know that was your real daughter? And like that's not like delved into. It's just like, oh yeah, no, this is a person fucking with him. It's like, but that's like the extent to which it like is like brought up later on.
Yeah, I would have liked to see maybe a bit more emotional acting from Mbenga at the end. Like he's a bit too subdued for what's going on, I think.
Well, I think yes and no, right? Because like things happen too fast.
Yeah, no, and I mean like that's hard to get around.
Like they should have just given the man more time.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's fumbles his execution so hard.
I think that is probably like the worst part of like everyone forgets is that like he has like they could have just like added a scene of him like just working through shit with Hemmer otherwise.
Yeah.
But no, they had to hit that big reset button. Like they could have even just excluded Hemmer again.
Yeah.
Right? Like but like that is definitely like a piece that's missing. Because like that could have also like gotten the ambiguity like a bit back in there.
Absolutely.
Because like what the fuck does it mean to be like a brain in space? Like, for reference, humans that are isolated from other humans, like, are not...
They're the most mentally healthy people,
Well,
actually.
If you just do that from the start, those are feral children. Those are like they cannot learn language after a certain point.
Yeah.
And with adults, it's really bad. That's why solitary confinement is torture. So, like, this entity is, like, deeply different from people because, like, it's just like, yeah, I'm a bit lonely.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's very different. Like, this,
really tanking it quite well.
Like, this entity has, like, survived solipsism. Right? Like,
That's actually very cool to think about in a sense, right?
So, like, there's just, like, there's just so much going on with, like, the nebula entity that is like not gone into, which like fair enough, it's more external, but like it's a rich vein.
I want a scene where like Spock and Uhura yells at Mbenga for not investigating the entity more.
It would have been good.
But no, like I think it's kind of bizarre because I feel like this is a thing that has happened so much in Black Mirror where we've been like, stop doing stuff.
Yeah.
You are at a good place. And this is the first time that it has happened in Star Trek.
Yeah, either stop or like keep going a bit. You know, like either is good. Just,
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I want to say this is like speaking on a meta level for a second, right? Mm-hmm. This episode is like quite emblematically Star Trek, I want to point out, because like especially like the earlier you go with Star Trek, the more it was like, well, yeah, we're making this in Hollywood, we have all these costumes like just like at our fingertips, so like we can just like make a Western episode, make like any time period of episode.
Yeah.
Where like sometimes it's like a holodeck thing, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, no, we'll just like do a mind thing and people are like themselves but different. So like there's something like deeply archetypally Star Trek about this episode, including the like extremely like, well, anyway, the extreme Deus Ex Machina of the ending. And I do think, and like people have spoken about like, well, you can have those episodes, but like it makes a lot less sense in like a 10 episode season as opposed to like 23.
Yeah, I mean like that is something that's very interesting. Like we I forget if we talked about it on the podcast, but we talked a little bit about the idea that like, you know, higher budgets, higher like special effects budgets in particular means that like you gotta do shit with every episode because there's fewer of them. And like when you're making like 25 episodes a season, you can just have like a couple of nonsense bottle episodes and be like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, no, and like I think just like having fun with an episode is like a lot more cogent when you like have more room to explore the space.
Yeah. I mean, like in that sense, I actually think it's kind of beautiful that this episode exists.
Yeah, no, like
what are you guys doing?
Strange New World like is just committed to going like, listen, we don't have the episodes, we're still doing it, and I do respect that immensely.
Yeah.
Right, like I don't think it works that well. I think Strange New Worlds is like it profoundly like weakened just like by its like mostly like episode count, right? Because the writers just can't find their fucking feet, right? Like by the time like most Star Trek seasons are like said to be getting good after 3 seasons, and then there's like 4 good seasons because they get 7 seasons of like 25 episodes. So like by the time they have like as many episodes as the other Star Treks had to get good, they are done. They are at like 9 seasons with like the current arrangement. And like
I just like, I'm so like conceptually just think about them pitching this episode to a boardroom of corporate execs.
Yeah, no, you know? Like there must be like some interesting things going on. We want
sword fights on the Enterprise with lasers. No, metal swords.
Yeah, no, I am actually quite surprised that like this episode wasn't just like buoyed in its rating by lesbians. Just like straightforward.
I mean, Ortega is powerful.
Yeah, no.
I keep calling her Ortega, but she's canonically Ortegas, which trips me up so much. But yeah, no, like it's a very good point. Like, yeah, this is like, you can make a very successful romantasy novel about lesbians from this.
Yeah,
or for lesbians.
But yeah, no, like I think altogether, like it is it's like one of the weaker like goofy fun episodes, but like it is still nice to have a goofy fun episode.
Yeah,
even if like it, I don't know, I guess it upsets some people.
It lacks the punch of some of the other ones, I will say. But it's still like the sort of background emotional punch of like the musical episode, for example. Same thing, honestly, for the Lower Decks crossover. Like it lacks that like involvement in people's fates and stuff like that. But they're still very clearly dedicated to the silliness, and I have to give them credit for that.
Doing something like wrapping something like extremely heavy in it.
Yeah, no, like it's such a strange concept. Like, because like you said, this has also been like a build up about his child.
Yeah,
before, right?
she's been like this is episode 8. Like she shows up like 3 times, maybe 2 or 3 times beforehand.
Which is really interesting that like the resolution of that is in a silly episode, and I don't think that's inherently bad.
Yeah, no, it's I
like
like it.
It fumbles the execution, but yeah, like I think this is a good bad episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we heading next, Jurgen?
Well, we're going to do a summary episode in the near future. We might be having a guest before that. That is yet to see.
And not just Podcat, who's furiously licking his foot.
Yeah, he's devouring that foot.
Good lord. Okay, wow.
So yeah, no, stay tuned for whatever happens next week that we don't know yet.
And don't get caught by the sword lesbian fantasy. It will trap you.
I don't like have fun, you know. It's fine.
It's up to you. But either way, we shall see you on the other side.
Thanks for listening.